Ready?
Okay.
Ready? We are here at Gamescom. We are here at Gamescom 2015, and I'm joined by Lucy James, who has played Quantum Break.
I didn't play it.
What? We are here at Gamescom 2015, and I'm joined by Lucy James, who saw Quantum Break. Lucy, what is Quantum Break?
You all, everybody.
That is a deep cut reference. But tell me about Quantum Break. We'll worry about Lost later.
Okay, so Quantum Break. So it had its kind of re-reveal at the Microsoft press briefing on Tuesday, and
it looks like a third-person cover shooter.
You're not wrong.
Okay.
It is. But the story's a little more complex. I think partly because it has a TV show attached to it, which I'll explain later, because now I know how that's going to work.
And it's about time traveling.
And it's about time travel, so it's not going to be an easy thing to kind of explain. Sam Lake himself, Max Payne himself, was there. He did a great job of explaining. So basically, the main character, Jack Joyce, who is Shawn Ashmore from X-Men.
Not from X-Men, from real life. But he plays Bobby in X-Men.
He plays Iceman in X-Men. I just assume he's just a Omega level mutant at all times. Anyway, his brother Will, who's played by Dominic Monaghan, everyone's favorite Hobbit slash, Lost island dweller. His brother is a scientist. He's basically like having his role, if you remember the short-lived TV show Flash Forward.
Yeah.
He's a scientist, he's meddling with time, and at the university there is obviously an accident, stuff goes wrong with time, and their friend, who's played by Aidan Gillen, Littlefinger from Game of Thrones, gets like some weird time thing happens to him, gets sent into the future, and that's why he looks considerably older, 17 years older, in fact, than his friends. When he comes back, he is head of the evil guy's monarch, and what he does is he actually kills Dominic Monaghan, Will's character. So Jack Joyce. So
you play his brother.
You play his brother, so it's kind of like partly a tale for revenge.
Revenge and also...
But the thing is that it's a tale about different philosophies. So Jack Joyce also has the power to manipulate the time stuff, which I'll get into. So he believes that the future's not set in stone and wants to do everything that he can to change it, and in a way like bring his brother back, and everyone lives happily ever after. Aidan Gillen's character Paul, he's seen the future. It's a very deterministic way of looking at it. It's gonna happen. There's nothing we can do about it. So it's these two warring philosophies, and that's kind of how the game is set up.
It's a clash of ideologies that ultimately comes to blow in cover-based shooting.
Yeah.
Is that right?
So basically what's happening is that because time is messed up, there are these time stutters, which is what we've been seeing in the gameplay trailers, where stuff's just freaking out. And so Jack Joyce and Paul can both manipulate these things. The evil guys could also manipulate them because they have a thing on their back that helps them manipulate to a certain degree, but not as powerful as the other two. So that's why they can fire at you.
Bubbles of time.
Yeah, bubbles
and
of
stuff
time
like that,
and things like that. So that's how they can do that. But time, I think, is unaffected for people who aren't wearing those, who aren't the main characters. So in terms of the bit we saw actually, it was platforming, which reminded me a little bit of Uncharted, and that might have been because it was set in a shipping yard. So what was happening is time's freaking out, and you're using your time powers to either dash past something before it falls on you, or to slow something down, or you can set out a burst of time, which is a destructive thing, to make something crumble that you can climb past.
So you're telling me you're using those same powers that you would use in combat in platforming?
Exactly.
What about the show?
Okay, so I understand how it works now, so I'm genuinely more excited about it. So the game is from the perspective of Jack Joyce, from the protagonist, from the hero. The show is the villains, and also there's a lot of overlap.
Right.
So the way it's going to work is that you play an act of the game, and at the end of the act, you make a choice. And depending on what choice you make, means you get a different episode of the show. So the episodes are going to be running between probably about 22 minutes, they were saying, like a regular half-hour show in America without ads. And of course, it's all dependent on the choice you've made, the show that you get. There's characters, scenery, and actual scenes that overlap. So we saw one bit from the TV show where these two characters were, pointing a gun at each other, things were getting heated. Jack Joyce was locked up in the back of a van. But then what happened is because they weren't wearing the monarch things, they were, time just passed smoothly for them. And at one point, their guns were missing and Jack Joyce was missing from the car. But then in the game, you actually play that scene as Jack Joyce, and you basically manipulate time, take their guns, free yourself, and get out. So it's really cool to see the way they overlap.
I'm definitely intrigued in the kind of the connectivity between them. The whole thing, like time travel and the butterfly effect, sounds convoluted as hell.
I'm always wary about time travel
Yeah.
because there's always like the fail safe. Let's just
Yeah.
go back before this all happened. So I'm kind of hoping that doesn't happen. But the game looked really good. Like the physics in it were amazing. Just like stuff freaking out in time.
Right.
Just looked incredible.
If there's one thing you can rely on Remedy for, it's good action set pieces and good combat. And from what I've seen, it looks amazing in that department. But we'll find out more about it in the future. Until then, keep your eyes on GameSpot.com for more coverage from Gamescom.